Hi, I'm Geoff Stoute, and welcome to Inside the Huddle. I'm here with Berwick coach Craig Brodie at Berwick High School, where Berwick is celebrating homecoming this week. The Panthers will host Varnado. Berwick comes into the game looking for their first win of the season. Last week, the Panthers went to Abbeville and had a rough time. They fell 58-21. While it was a tough contest for the Panthers, and they started five freshmen, and along with other inexperienced players. There were some bright spots for the Panthers as Logan Angeron returned a kickoff 84 yards. Aldwin Williams caught six passes for 127 yards and two scores. And freshman quarterback Mitchell Sanford in his first start threw for 126 yards and two touchdowns. He also had three picks, unfortunately. This week, obviously, they placed a Varnado team that beat Pine a week ago 39-17. Their quarterback, DJ Jefferson, threw for 252 yards and three scores last week. Coach, coming to this week, obviously, certainly you'd like, not to be in the situation you are, but as far as, having coming back home, it being homecoming, a lot of momentum on your side, this is a perfect opportunity for y'all to make a turn and turn the season around.
Yeah, we hope that's going to happen. We did have a rough time. You mentioned some of the starters being out and playing some young kids last week, but we've done that both weeks. We thought our offensive line was going to be one of our strong points with four senior returners, and hadn't had them all together at one time, playing the position that they normally play in. But credit, hats off to them. Credit to them. They've taken it well and done everything we asked them to do. And we brought in a couple of freshmen last week and on the offense line, and that's tough to handle something like that for young guys. But they did a great job of they worked at it, and it didn't go real well. We had a freshman quarterback, and I thought he handled himself very well. I have no problem playing him at all. He threw a touchdown pass week one also, and filled in for Colin Louvier, who had an injury, a concussion injury, but he'll be back. So it's just been a kind of a bad situation. We played two really good, very physical teams, Morgan City and Abbeville, both 4A teams, and we just have to worry about getting ourselves better. And like I said, homecoming, our first home game this year, so we're excited about that.
Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about Varnado, what they run offensively and defensively.
Varnado is similar to Abbeville. Similar, they'll run some power, in sweeps and similar formations. They'll get double slot. They'll get some, wing T stuff, and so we've been seeing every week about the same type of offense. So the kids are pretty familiar with it. They throw the ball down the field well. They have a good number one. He's a good tall receiver. Kind of reminds me of our one, and they have some good athletes. So we just, we got our hands full with them. We're going to be able to, we need to be able to make some big plays and put some pressure on their quarterback and just regular things you always prepare for every week.
Mm-hmm. What about defensively?
They're multiple. They get into a bare front where they'll have five people on the line and one linebacker, and which is always tough to do when you cover up all the gaps. You got a nose guard and 2 3s and 2 5s, and they'll play some man coverage behind it, and they'll go to a 4-man front, kind of a 4-2-5, which is we're hoping that's what they base out of mostly against us, based on the formations. Offensively, you try to put formations out there. What the defense is going to be in, mm-hmm. And once we know where they're lining up, then we have a choice of plays to try to attack what they show us. So. We've been working real hard this year of kind of doing what we call a freeze, where we'll go up to the line of scrimmage and we'll just say hut, try to draw them off sides, turn to the sideline, call the play. And after we've looked at the formation, how they adjust to it, so that way we can eliminate some things in this front or this secondary. We can't do this, so it makes things a lot easier. And it gives us a better chance to succeed. And I think the kids have been handling it real well. Our biggest problem right now is just execution, and that's like I said, that's a lot of that has to do with inexperience, and a lot has to do with our injuries in the offensive line.
And lastly, obviously homecoming, exciting time. But as a coach, I guess how have the kids handled it? And as a coach, how do you handle this kind of week?
I just ask them when they're with me to concentrate and do what I ask them to do, and forget about everything else. And then when they're not with me, go have fun with your classmates. Go do your wacky Olympics like they're having tonight, and have your Monday Night Football where they'll touch football, and they have seniors have scavenger hunt night, and there's all kinds of activities for the. And I think it's important. You only get one chance to to participate in homecoming. I was old school where the coach said the only thing you participate in is a game, and he wouldn't let us do anything. He just shut us out. And I miss personally a lot of fun that regular students got to participate in. Of course, I got to play in a football game, but there's a lot of other things that I'd enjoy doing. And as long as they're, they stay out, they do their activities, they go home, at a certain time, they stay out, don't do the crazy things that people do, TPing and whatever else, riding around and throwing water balloons and, all these things. And they know if they do those things, they're gonna be punished, and we kind of set a curfew for them so that would, get them home at a decent time, and we're not their parents. We're not, we can only do so much. But we have to draw a line and say, if you misbehave and something happens during the week, you're gonna be, you're gonna have some consequences, as far as the football goes. So, hopefully we'll go in with a full team for, Friday. It's only Wednesday, so we're hoping.
All right, Coach. Well, I appreciate it, and good luck to y'all this week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. In other action this week, Central Catholic will begin this week's football action when they host Ascension Catholic Thursday night in Morgan City. It's the home opener for the Eagles. A week ago, Central Catholic defeated Opelousas Catholic in a game that Coach Tommy Minton said his team stepped up to the plate as far as being physical with Opelousas Catholic. Stefano Garisco had another solid game. He had 147 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. He had another touchdown via a kickoff return and another one on the receiving end from a pass from DeMarcus Mitchell. This week, the Eagles defense also got 2 fourth-quarter stops of Opelousas Catholic, which proved key in the game from not allowing them to rally and possibly take the lead or even win the game. This week they will face Ascension Catholic, who, while starting the season in their jamboree in their first game of the season, scored 50 or more points. Their offense cooled considerably last week with a 40-14 loss to Dunham. However, Coach Tommy Minton said Ascension Catholic was missing their quarterback, Daniel Mattingly, in that Week 2 loss, and he expects him back this week. As far as Ascension Catholic, they run a spread offense, and they have some 2-back sets that they use too. It's mostly spread offense. Players to watch for them are Caleb Winchester, who plays slot receiver and running back, and Coach Minton said they use him all over. He's a small guy. He's 5'3" and 135 pounds according to their roster, but Coach Minton said he can move, he can fly, so they'll have to keep their eyes on him at all times. As well as Javon Yarborough, another wide receiver who also plays running back. Last week he played quarterback. Last week Ascension Catholic was also hurt by 4 turnovers, in their contest. As far as Morgan City will look to continue their best start since the 2012 season when they host North Central on Friday. The Tigers last week defeated Sophie B. Wright 6-0 in a game that wasn't very pretty. The Tigers scored on their first possession of the game on a 10-yard touchdown run by Malik Phillips, and after that, it was pretty much defenses battling each other. Morgan City had opportunities, they just couldn't get it in the end zone, and their defense stepped up big and stopped a couple of Sophie B. Wright chances deep in Morgan City territory. The Tigers' defense, like I said, again stepped up for the second week in a row. That was another solid output for them. They gave up 86 yards 82 yards of total offense last week to Sophie B. Wright. This week they'll face North Central, who fell last week to Centerville. North Central is a team that Coach Scott Trago said doesn't have a lot of depth, and he said it's a game that he expects everybody to play Friday for his squad. He's obviously very confident in them that they can pull out a victory. It's a game he said they scheduled that he hopes to get his starters in, obviously, but then give them a break and get reserves in. And he just said he doesn't think North Central can stay with them in the trenches, offensively and defensively for that long. North Central comes into the game with an 0-2 record. On offense they run a spread offense, and on defense a 50 defense. Their key players are quarterback Dontarius Joseph, running back and defensive backs Anthony Hungerford and Wilshawn Williams. In Patterson, the Lumberjacks will take the road this week again for the third week in a row. Not against a 5A opponent, but this week against Catholic High New Iberia. The first 2 weeks of the season, the Lumberjacks have played 5A opponents. Central Lafourche in Week 1 and Hahnville in Week 2. And unfortunately, they came up on the short end of both. Last week, they fell 38-7 to Hahnville. Actually, though, in the game, Patterson led 7-0 on a highlight reel touchdown catch by Nehemiah Augustus. Unfortunately, Hahnville came roaring back and Patterson could never answer. This week against Catholic High, they'll face the defending Division III runners-up. Catholic High comes into the game off of a 24-6 win against Erath. And Catholic High features a wing T offense that Coach Chad Blanchard said is probably one of the best in the state. He said that the Patterson defense this week has worked on reading keys to be able to defend the wing T offense, while on offense the Patterson offense is going to have to be patient this week and see what the Catholic High and their 3-3 stack defense will take away. Key players for Catholic High this week are offensive lineman Zion Hill, offensive lineman Riot Richtofen, and running back Seth Pierre. The Lumberjacks counter with quarterback Sebastian Charles, wide receiver Nehemiah Augustus, and another wide receiver Brennan Go, as well as running back Tristan Osama, who have all turned in solid performances early this season. Well, that's another look at the high school action for this week, and thank you for joining us for Inside the Huddle.